Good morning and welcome to Discover Virtual for middle school. We're so glad you were able to join us today, and we are happy to answer your questions and provide you the information you might need. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We will have experts talking about our programs at the middle school level and answering your questions afterwards. If you are anything like me, you think of questions and you just want to put them down before you forget, you can do so on the Q&A. You can click on that icon and type in your questions. We'll be answering them in the Q&A as well as at the end of the presentation. So please make sure that you put them in there. We ran a little short in the last session, so if that happens for this one, we will have all these questions and answers to the questions in an FAQ that we will provide at the on the website where you registered later in the week. And we will also have a recording of this session in that website, so if there's anything you want to review, you can do it there. So now just some information, if we can go to the next one. So for the application, we will have starting, well, it's already started from 10 to 2, a phone bank with experts that can help walk you through the application. If you already know, you've gotten enough information here and you already know what program or what school you want to do, then you can start the application process. If you have questions, you can call 972-925-5560, and they'll help you. They'll walk you through the application. And for today, from 10 to 2 p.m. Normally, they're available on Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5 p.m. and provide that same service. Next. Now we'll have a really quick look through the application process, so you can get an idea. If you haven't used it before, you can get an idea of what it looks like. If you don't want to do it now, we do provide help. You can call that number, 972-925-5560, during the week. And you can also email them at enroll@dallasisd.org. And if you need help in person, we have several locations with enrollment experts. And you can find the location nearest you at www.dallasisd.org/1. Again, that's only during the week from 7:30 to 5. So if that's an option, if that's the option that you prefer, you can go visit them in person. They're super nice people, so I'm sure. We're gonna go over the transfer and neighborhood program information, which is part of the application.
Hi, yes, can everyone hear me? Good morning, sorry, everybody. My name is Jennifer Murillo. I'm with the Office of Centralized Enrollment, and one of our goals during this application period is to assist families with completing those applications for our various programs. To access the application website, you can start at the main webpage, dallasisd.org, and select the Choose Dallas ISD icon. Or you can go to dallasisd.org/discover. It will take you to this webpage as well. We do have a school finder resource for families that are wanting to see what's out there within Dallas ISD. I would suggest utilizing the option on the right, help me find a school or program of choice, as the option on the left will give you your neighborhood school based on your address. So you can type in your student's income and grade level, enter the address, and then search for programs that you are interested in, whether it be a STEAM Academy, Visual and Performing Arts, virtual option, and you can do that between our transformation programs, our magnet programs, and other academic programs, which will likely include our neighborhood programs. So once you select the schools that or the programs that you're interested in, you'll select next, and then best fit, which will provide you with the schools that offer the programs you selected. So the match score is going to be important because that will let you know what schools offer the programs you selected in your previous pages. Solar Prep for Boys has one of the two, and Solar Prep for Girls would have one of the two. So you can use this to kind of narrow down the options that we have within the district when looking for the school options. Once you are ready to submit the application, you'll come back and click the Choose Dallas ISD application. It automatically logged me in because I was logged in for the last session, but it will ask you to either log in or create an account if you are new to the district. A couple of things to note as soon as you log in is this upper right corner, you can change the language of the dashboard if needed. And we also would like you to pay special attention to the school year box in the upper right corner. We are open to registration for the current school year, 23-24. So we do want to ensure that your dashboard is set to the 2024-2025 school year for this upcoming school year. Next, if you could just scroll down to the bottom and double check to see if the student is tied to your account. If they are, you'll see their name here listed in blue and an application tile under their name. If the student is not tied to your account yet because you had to create a new account or because this is the first time they'd be entering Dallas ISD, then you can click on the Let's Begin application tile to go ahead and start that process. Now, I did start an application just to kind of speed things up. The beginning pages are going to be straightforward demographic information, name, date of birth, previous school information. It will also ask you for parent and guardian information. And if the parent or guardian is a Dallas ISD employee, you can enter the employee email there. The next page will be the selected schools page. It will also give you information regarding the application process. You do have the ability to select up to 5 schools on this application with a limit of 2 magnet schools. And the way you can know whether a school is magnet or not is actually through the school tile. It will notify you if the program that you are selecting is a magnet school or a neighborhood school, the different programs that that school may offer. This map is interactive. You can zoom in. The green tile will give you your zone school based on the address provided, and you can see what other schools may be nearby if distance is a considerable factor in your school selection. Once you have your school selected, you will scroll down to the bottom and click Continue. And this will take you to the Rank School Selection page. Now, the lottery, which will take place after the application deadline, is going to take these rankings into great consideration. So it is very important that these schools are ranked in order of your preference. It does default to alphabetical order, as you can see here, but if you have a preference of a school, then definitely drag and drop. My mouse is giving me problems, but it will be a lot easier for you, I promise. So just drag them in the order that you prefer and then continue on with the application. You'll notice on the menu on the left that the pages are specific to the schools that you are applying. So siblings will be asked for any school that you select because some schools do have a sibling preference. And if the student receives 504 services or has an IEP, you will also be have the opportunity to upload those documents here on this page as well for review. But each magnet school, transformation school, and neighborhood program will have their own unique pages with information that is required for their application and selection process. So here you can upload the required documents for each program type. If you do need assistance and the student is a current Dallas ISD student, the enrollment centers can help you obtain their most recent report card and their STAR scores. And of course, proof of residency will need to be provided by the parent, but we are more than happy to assist you with uploading all of those documents. Once the application has been submitted, I will take you to one that already is submitted. You will actually see the confirmation page as shown here. So it's very important that you take note as to whether you also receive a confirmation email to the email address that you use to create your account. This will inform you as to whether you will be receiving any upcoming notifications as your application is being processed. You can also verify the information that we have on file by clicking on My Account. And if you see any typo to the email or typo to the phone number, go ahead and make those corrections. That way, you are receiving any updates to the student's application regarding any next steps or possibly missing documentation. Another thing to take note is you can make edits to the application and ranking throughout the application process, so long as it's done by the application deadline, which again is January 31st. So you can either re-rank these schools, or if you select on edit, you can change the schools that you selected on your application outright as well.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. We appreciate that information. And as we set up the slides once more, we will welcome Jorge Flores, who is going to tell us all about how the transfers work for some of these schools and some neighborhood programs.
Thank you very much, Mari Carmen, and thank you, Jennifer, for that great information. My name is Jorge Flores, and I'm Student Transfer Coordinator and part of the Centralized Enrollment Team. And I'm going to talk to you about the transfers and neighborhood programs. Every student in grades K to 12 have a guaranteed seat at their zone neighborhood school. But let's say you want to have your child attend a different neighborhood school. Well, then you would use the system, the application system, to go ahead and apply for another neighborhood school that you'd like your child to attend. Now, the permissions are going to be based on the available space for the seat that you're requesting. So, for example, if you have an incoming sixth grader going into middle school and you're applying for sixth grade to a certain school, and that school has maybe 25 seats available for that grade level, and if you have 10 students who are applying, the likelihood to get a seat offer is very high. But let's just say you have 25 seats available at that school and you have maybe 40 applicants. That means some students will get a seat offer and some students will be put on a wait list. But you can remain on that wait list and communicating with the school, or if the school has an available space, then they can move your student from the wait list to the offered list. But once your student gets a seat offer and they're attending that school, they can remain at that school without having to reapply every year. They have that permission that will be with them all the way up to the highest grade level at that school. So that means once they're ready to transition into high school, they can either attend their neighborhood school, neighborhood high school, or they can apply for a different neighborhood school through a transfer again. One very different thing for student transfers is that there is no transportation for students on a transfer. So keep that in mind as you're considering the distance of where you're wanting to go ahead and apply and get a transfer permission. So some of the great programs that we have available for our students that are neighborhood programs, and you'll hear more about, is dual language programs. One of them is dual language programs, and that's if you want your student to learn, think, write in two languages, this is the great program for your students. Now, we have middle schoolers here now, but they'll eventually go on to high school. And if you are interested in the IB program, which is also called International Baccalaureate Program, where you want your high school student to go ahead and get not only their high school diploma, but an internationally recognized certification diploma, that is another great opportunity for your student. If students who get the IB, who are in the IB program and get the IB certification, may be able to go ahead and use that IB certification to either attend a school in another country or even build their resume with that great IB program certification. And lastly, innovation schools are also an available neighborhood program for your students. And that means that these schools have a great instructional model on their campus. They can have Montessori on their campus. They can have dual language. They can have personalized learning, visual and performing arts. And these programs are already available for your student to benefit if it's their zone neighborhood school. If it's not their zone neighborhood school, then they can go ahead and apply through a regular student transfer. Lastly, I just want to mention that our district's goal is to help you find the best fit school for your students. And I'm very confident that we, working together, can find that best fit for your student. Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. And yes, we are all about finding the program and the school that is best for your child. And we do have more than 140 programs and schools of choice. So with all the discussion about choice, it's like we have choice. So we're here. Part of what we're doing today is providing you the information about some of these programs so you can make those choices for your students. Our next, before we go to our next, we are experiencing some little technical issues with the hotline, but hopefully it will be on soon. So please bear with us and keep calling the number, and we appreciate your patience with that. And now we are going to have Nancy Rubio walk us through the magnet programs that are available at the middle school level.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Rubio, and I represent the magnet programs for Dallas ISD. So our middle school offerings do offer single gender schools, Montessori schools, talented and gifted schools, STEM, multiple careers, two-way dual language programs, and performing and visual arts. The application is the same as for the other choice programs. Students apply online. Students do submit a report card, most recent report card, and test scores from the previous year. Students who submit these documents and meet the minimum eligibility do move on to an on-campus assessment. Next slide, please. The selection process for magnet programs is as follows. So once students submit their report card, the eligibility for students is 75 GPA for Montessori, single gender, arts, STEM, and multiple careers, and 80% GPA for talented and gifted schools. The test score eligibility is 40th percent for Montessori, single gender, arts, STEM, multiple careers, and 70th percentile for talented and gifted schools. Students who are enrolled in Dallas ISD and cannot obtain their test scores or do not have access to them through the school can always contact our enrollment center to get a copy of their report card and test scores. If your student was not in Dallas ISD or for any reason does not have any test scores from the previous year, students can be scheduled to take a norm reference test through the district. That test is given in January, and parents must sign up through the school they are applying to. Students who meet the minimum grade average and test score requirements do move forward to an on-campus assessment. The on-campus assessment varies depending on the school they're applying to. So if they're applying to an art school, they might have an audition or a art portfolio. If they're applying to a tag school, they might have a critical thinking test or a essay to write on campus. You can always reach out to the school and find out what the assessment consists of. Next slide, please. So for the test scores, I do want to mention that we do take test scores from January 2023 to January 2024. So if your student does not qualify with test scores from the year 2023, we will look at your January 2024 test scores, as long as a student applies by January 31st. Next slide, please. So our selection process is as follows. 30% of those seats are awarded to students that live within Dallas ISD based on the assessment score, based on the test that you take at the campus. And the remaining 70% of the seats are awarded and divided up equally to our comprehensive high school feeder patterns. We do have a sibling preference for our middle school, elementary and middle school programs. So if you're applying to Dealey and Stone, students who meet the minimum score on the assessment do get priority. All our other elementary and middle school programs do get 5 points added to their assessment score. And qualified in-district applicants are placed before out-of-district applicants. So we do take applications for out-of-district students, but we do give priority to students that live within Dallas ISD. We don't want you to be discouraged if you live out of Dallas ISD. We do take students 2 weeks into the school district, so your student will remain on a wait list. And we do, in the past, we have taken out-of-district students for most of our programs. Next slide, please. So we have 9 middle school programs. Barack Obama and Rahel are grades 6 through 12. We also have Alex Spence Tag, Dallas Environmental Science Academy, Longfellow Career Exploration, John Lewis Social Center at OW Homes, Judge Lewis A. Bedford Law Academy at Atwell, Rosemont Intermediate Language Prep, and Griner Exploratory Arts programs. If you're still undecided on the program, you can always visit the Dallas ISD School Finder that Jennifer mentioned earlier and explore your options. If you have any questions, you can contact myself, Maida Andrade, or Shatera Walters, or the Enrollment Center. As I said, if a student is not eligible with the current test scores, we will go back and review January test scores. So we encourage you to apply. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Nancy. And there are quite a few questions about magnets already in the Q&A. For example, what does that 70 percentile mean? That's a parent who speaks Spanish wanted to know when you say 70 percentile.
So the 70th percentile is the percentile score that's given, scored. And for Dallas ISD students, we look at the MAP test that they take during the school year. So they take the MAP test in January. They took it in May, and they took it in September. So those are 3 opportunities. If you're not familiar with the test scores, reach out to our enrollment center or the school, and they will be able to give you a copy of those test scores. But basically, that is the score on the MAP test or any norm reference test that the student may have taken.
Great, thank you. And another quick question. If parents want to know like what specific documents are required at each of the magnet schools, I don't know if they're slightly different for each school, but where can they find a list of the required documents? A parent was asking they're not within the district, so they would have to get them from the school where their child is currently.
Yes, so it's the same 3 documents that are required for any magnet application, which is the most recent report card, test scores, and proof of residence. For Dallas ISD students, of course, if they're enrolled, we can pull that information. For students that are out of district, they would have to obtain those test scores from their current school. If for any reason a student does not have test scores, then the district can test those students in January for that norm reference test, but they do have to apply by January 31st and also contact the school that they are applying to get signed up for that test.
Great, thank you so much. And that happens like if your student is currently in a private school but want to apply for, they may not have some of those because private schools don't do those like STAR and those other norm reference tests. So this is an opportunity for you to get those test scores.
And I also do want to mention that we do take STAR results as well. So I know that most schools do give the STAR test. So if a student does not have norm reference test, they can use STAR scores.
Yes, if they have them. If
yes,
not, if you happen
them.
to be in a private school, they don't do stars. So
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you wouldn't have those, but we will test them. So keep an eye out on that. Or if you're coming from another state, there may be an equivalent. Your best option is to contact either our magnets department or our one centers. And we're still having some issues with the hotline. I apologize. We were all ready to go, but technology sometimes just betrays you. So we're working on it. Please be patient, bear with us, and we'll let you know as soon as it's available. But they are available during the week. If for some reason we don't get it working today, they are available during the week.
Mari Carmen, I just
Yes.
want to mention with magnet schools, because I do see this question in the chat. With sports, if a magnet school does not offer sports, they can play at their home campus. So don't let that discourage you from applying. Sports can be played at the home campus.
Great. And yeah, all the activities are available. If they're not available as part of the magnet school, they're available at the home campus. So thank you for that. That's important information, Nancy, because it really plays into the decision making. Thank you so much. And now we have our transformation and innovation schools. And Valerie Barron will walk us through that process.
Yeah, thanks so much, Maria Carmen. So yeah, like mentioned before, we're gonna be touching briefly on the transformation schools. So just briefly, these are schools that are designed around innovative models. So they offer specific specialized academic programming similar to Magnet, such as STEM, personalized learning, and Montessori. Just mention a few here. Our transformation schools do not have attendance boundaries, so really any student can apply to attend, and there are no academic entry requirements for transformation schools. Students are selected for enrollment through a randomized lottery, and these seats are awarded based on a 50-50 socioeconomic lottery for most of our schools, and really this is just for diversity. Transportation is provided for students who live within district boundaries as well. Going into our next slide, I did want to go over a few of our transformation middle schools. As you can see here on the screen, we do have middle schools that start from our pre-K grade all the way through 8th grade. And then we do also have a few that are really just going to focus on the 6th through 8th grade. And touch briefly on our IB middle school option there. So with the Montessori, we do have Mata Montessori and Onesimo Hernandez. And really, this is going to emphasize the student's self-discovery and independence. With our visual and performing arts, this is going to combine the love of fine arts with the first-class academic environment. For that, we have Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Adding on to this section, we have our hybrid and virtual programs. And really, this is going to be a offer that is flexible learning environment where a student can thrive in a setting. And that's really kind of just honing into I learned there. Another option for a virtual program is Dallas Hybrid. And this is going to combine both. A student can attend virtually, but also have the experience of attending in person. Now, for these two programs, or for these two schools, it is starting from 3rd grade all the way through 8th grade. We also wanted to touch briefly on our single gender schools. Now, both of our single gender schools, Solar Girls and Solar Boys, they offer a STEAM program. So it's science, technology, engineering, and adding that arts aspect as well as mathematics. And with that, we also have DA Holsey STEAM Middle School. So they offer the same programming, but the difference is that Solar Girls and Solar Boys, those are our single gender schools. Moving forward with our personalized learning, and this is really a one size fits one approach to personalized learning, and we do have Ignite Middle School for that option. With the IB, this is one of our middle schools that will eventually grow into all the way through 12th grade. There are applications now for 10th grade, but starting off with that middle school grade 6th through 8th, students are able to experience this unique instruction where they can grow in becoming global change makers. Following the next slide, I did want to touch briefly on a few documents that you are going to have to upload if you are applying to our transformation schools. We do have to upload a proof of address, and this, we definitely encourage to be a current bill. So that is something that campuses are doing currently, is processing applications and making sure that those documents are uploaded. Including with that is a proof of income. Now, there is a piece in the application where a parent can select that you prefer not to provide information to proof of income, and that's definitely fine. But please make sure to upload a proof of address onto that section. I wanted to touch closely on the virtual academy. There is additional documents to load, and that would be your student's recent report card that includes grades and attendance. Including the 2020 spring STAR or the beginning of year MAP scores, or any norm reference assessment in all subject areas. We also have our website here. Feel free to visit so you can kind of do a deep dive on our transformation options there. And if you do need any assistance with applying, remember you have until January 31st to submit your applications. Feel free to give us a call, or even visit your nearest one as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And just because we do get a lot of questions before we go into the secondary dual language program, we do get a lot of questions about the main difference between magnet and transformation schools. And because it can get confusing. Some of them have some of the same programs in magnet and transformation. So what is the main difference?
Well, they're very similar. The main difference is that with transformation, there is no academic requirements, versus magnet, you do have to have that. The only difference for transformation schools would be iLearn, and that's our virtual school.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And now our dual language program, I think it's Marisol who's presenting. And it's great. There's not a lot of districts that offer dual language at the secondary level, so at middle school and high school, but we do, because we believe firmly in the benefits of having a second language. So the presenter for this?
Yes, Marisol, you are right.
Thank you, Marisol. I was like, I took a wild guess, but I'm glad I was right.
No, you were right. Yes, good morning. And I have the pleasure today to speak about the secondary dual language program. As Mari Carmen was mentioned, we are one of the districts that offers this great opportunity to our students to continue the dual language education in secondary. And our programs offers opportunities to learn how to speak, write, read, listen, and think in two languages. In our district, these languages are English and Spanish. Also, in addition, it strengthens thinking and problem-solving skills and increases global awareness and cultural diversity. That is something that we promote constantly. Something important here is that in order to participate in the secondary dual language program, the students must have dual language experience before. They should have experience with Spanish and have a high level of Spanish, because the courses that we're teaching in secondary, they are high level classes in Spanish. Next, please. Thank you. Right now, we have 8 school options for middle schools. Hutchins Elementary, Long Middle School, Piedmont Global Academy, Rosemont Upper, Alex Sanger Preparatory, School for the Talented and Gifted in Pleasant Grove, Edith Walker Middle School, Walnut Hill International Leadership Academy. These are the schools that currently we have in the secondary dual language program. And you can go ahead, you can apply. The requirement here is that they have spaces available at the school, and As, for example, they were mentioning in the other program in Magnets, if they have the dual language program, you need to apply to Magnet in this case. But in this case, for the secondary dual language, you apply, and it depends on the spaces that we have available in the program. Next one, please. And how does it work, the secondary dual language program? And starting in 6th grade through 8th grade, we always teach the 2 courses in Spanish. In 6th grade, we teach the reading language arts in Spanish. In addition, it's an additional course that is taught in Spanish. The rest of the courses are taught in English. 7th grade is the same time, is a 1 core content course and then a Spanish load course. And the other are in English. Then in every grade, they are going to be 2 courses that are taught completely in Spanish. And these courses are high level in Spanish. For example, they could be taking astronomy, chemistry, etc. Depends on the schools. And well, we hope that you apply. It provides a lot of benefit for your students if they haven't already in the dual language program. 2-way or 1-way, they can continue in the secondary applying for our program. We hope to receive your applications, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marisol. And it is really, it's a great opportunity. And really, truly, there's not a lot of districts around that offer this kind of opportunity for your students. And so if you have any interest, we really do recommend it. It makes a difference. So thank you for the information. And next, I think we're not having anything on special education, but if you have questions about special education, we've been answering them on the Q&A, and we will also answer them now. A couple questions that have come up, and please feel free to jump in if you have the answer, any of the panelists. Are there any upcoming open houses for some of these schools that we've talked about here? Is there a place to see those available open houses? I know the answer, I think. So I will answer my own question. If you visit www.dallasisd.org/discover, we do have that information there. And if it's not there, it will be on there by Monday. I believe it is there now. You can find when these schools are going to have open houses. But if you're interested in a particular school, you can also contact the school and see if you can schedule a visit for that particular school. And this is, I think, a great smart thing to do before you make those choices, because, your child might be able to see kind of what it's like, or you might be able to see what the atmosphere is like and all that, and see if that does fit your child's learning needs and preferences. So schools will have open houses, but if you don't see one, you can definitely contact the school and maybe set something up for that. And I'm hearing that the phones are working. Yay. So our hotline is available until 2 p.m. today at 972-925-5560. And there are a few questions that we've seen in the Q&A that are very specific to like the one student or to your student. We can't really answer those in like a public forum like this. So we recommend that you contact that number to get specific answers. They can go into your account and see all the details and help you through that. There was another question in the Q&A about I'm just blanked out on it. So I am going to move on to the next question. If you've been contacted, this parent says they've been contacted by a magnet school, does that give them priority in the selection process? Nancy, do you have any information on that?
Yes. So schools have reached out to several students to invite them to apply to the magnet programs. They do not get any priority. The acceptance is based on how the student does on the assessment. It's based on their eligibility and assessment score. And then, of course, how many seats are open. But yes, several schools did send out invitations for students to apply.
And I know competition is fierce out there. We have great students. So are there any magnet schools that have the dual program, the dual language program? Do we know, either you or the...
So for two-way dual language for magnet, we have School for the Talented and Gifted at Pleasant Grove, and that is an 4th through 8th grade program.
So they do have it in middle school. So
yes.
Great. Excellent. And Nancy, if they're in a magnet school right now and they want to attend a different magnet school, like a different program magnet school next year, do they need to apply?
Yes, they do need to apply. If it is a new school, of course, if they're staying within the same school and just progressing, let's say from elementary to middle school, they just move forward. For example, if they were at Dealey and they're at 5th grade, and they will move on to 6th grade. And the same for our high school options that start at 6th grade. Once they exit 8th grade, they move on to 9th grade, and that would be at Rangel and Barack Obama, who go from 6th to 8th grade to high school, I'm sorry, through 12th grade.
Okay, great. And if oh my gosh, I just lost the question. I was looking at it here, and special ed process. If special ed education services go with the child, right? So you could apply for a magnet school and still receive special education services.
Yes, as long as you upload those documents with your application, there is an option to upload those documents. And when the schools have that assessment, they will accommodate that student. But those documents do need to be uploaded with the application.
Okay,
now,
great.
Also, in addition to that, a student's IEP drives the instruction. And so those specific questions regarding special ed and a student's IEP really need to go through special ed. And so if there's a parent wanting to know specifically if their student can be served on a specific campus, if they would go ahead and upload their information to the application of interest, and we will support them with getting with special ed.
Great, thank you. And another question about the magnets. If you apply to more than one magnet school in the application process, and there's like an additional test done at the school, would you have to do more than one test, or is it just at the one that you get the offer for?
No, so you will, if you apply to, the limit is 2 magnet schools for the application. So you will be taking an assessment at both schools. And that's why we limit it to 2 schools, because we understand a student can't take more than 2 assessments. That would be too much. But yes, if you apply to 2 schools, then you will be taking 2 assessments. Acceptance is based on, so we will try to give you your first choice first. If there is no space at the first choice, and then we will try to place you at your second choice school, and so forth.
Okay, great. There's a question about seats being open. We don't really have that information readily available, like how many seats are at each of the schools. But a good rule of thumb is that if it's a beginning year, like an entrance year, like for example, 6th grade in middle school, 9th grade in high school and stuff, the chances of there being more open seats are greater than if you want your student to come in at a grade that's not a transition grade. So keep that in mind, and apply still, because you never know. You might be the parent whose student does get accepted. So so don't let that lack of knowing how many seats are available, or that it's a school that is traditionally hard to get into. Don't let that keep you from applying. I think we have answered pretty much all the questions. If you have any questions that are specific to your child, if you need help getting walking through the application, please definitely contact the number. And if we can go to the next slide so people can see. So you can find the information and the application at dallasisd.org/discover. You can call 972-925-5560 now, because the phones are now working, and get help right now. Or you can call that number Monday to Friday from 7:30 to 5 p.m. We will have a recording of this session at that same website sometime next week. And we will also try and have an FAQ of some of the questions that are pretty general that we may not have gotten to during the session, either in the Q&A or live. We appreciate you being part of this, and we appreciate all your questions and you sharing part of your Saturday morning with us. We offer a lot of opportunities for our students, and we're so glad that you're interested in them. And we hope that to see you at one of our transformation or magnet schools, or one of our great programs. Thank you so much for everything this morning. And if you have any questions, again, 972-925-5560. Have a great rest of your weekend.